This is Ricky from Project Attraction, and today I'm just chilling at my buddy Mike's house and just doing some shit and working out and working on the computer a bit. So I thought I'd shoot a video today, and I want to talk today about confidence and how to get confidence through setting goals. And also, I want to break down how to go about setting goals. How does this help, and how does this connect with having confidence? So what actually inspired this topic was I've been listening to a lot of Brian Tracy audiobooks for like my 1 hour reading a day, and he's this very successful business guy. Has a lot of books out there like How to Be a Millionaire, how to run a successful business. That's what I'm learning a lot through him, is how to run a successful business, and then just goals in general. Like a lot of these topics, the ones I talk about with women, and like I actually learned from business because there's a lot of similarities. It's like universal principles or truths. So one of them was setting goals, and I've been working on that since I've been listening to it. Like last week, just sitting down and writing goals out, and then making a game plan for it. And then even this week, like probably after I shoot this video, that's what I'm gonna do later tonight. Is like sit down, write my goals out, and write a game plan. And I noticed since I did it for some of my goals in game, which is really important to do, is to sit down. And I think a lot of guys don't know what they want out of game. And so you gotta, like, if you want a girlfriend or you want to have sex with multiple girls and stuff like that, you actually have to figure that shit out and even write it down. And so listening to this Brian Tracy audiobook, I learned a lot about, he says usually like the difference between winners and losers is that, like losers don't want to sit down and do the writing. And even me, I'm like, I don't want to sit down and write this. But he's like, winners do it. They don't want to do it either, but they actually take the time, sit down and write down what they fucking want. So I did, and I sit down, wrote it out. And even a lot of people are like, well, I already know my goals. I know it in my head. And if you can't write it out, that usually means you're kind of indecisive, you're not too sure, or there's a discrepancy there. There's a reason why you're not writing it down. So if you just sit the fuck down, write it out, and then write out a game plan, it's more helpful, and you're putting more effort into it, so you're more invested, and you're actually going to go for what you want. I notice a lot too, because I think we want things in life, but there's a lot of worries we have, and so that like it kind of stresses us out. So our brain's always jumping around, like either trying to find answers or reasons why not to do it. And so when you actually sit down and write out your goals, it kind of just helps you. It helps you focus, and that's where the confidence comes in. Is you're not worried about what other people are saying and getting advice from here or there or looking for answers. You're not pinging off the environment trying to like find answers, because you're sitting down and writing out a game plan. So you're relying on yourself and you're more confident in what you're doing. So now I'm going to walk you through like a little step by step of what I've learned and how to go about writing down goals. So the first one, as I've said like a million times already in this video, is to sit down, make the time, and write down your goals. And don't judge yourself as you're doing it. Just sit down, write them out. And it's not whether you think you can achieve them or not. It's just getting them out there on paper. Now the second step is to write out a plan. You want to take each goal and write out plans. And what it is, it's so you can track your progress too. They do this a lot if you work out and are a bodybuilder, to like track your progress. With anything that you want to get good at, you kind of have to figure out a way to track it. So even the goals that you want to obtain, you kind of have to put them in more a realistic timeline, and something that's achievable and that you can actually track. Like, I want to be happy. Like that's a good goal if that is one of your goals. But like, how do you track if you're happy? Like if you're more happy, so you gotta like be like, well, I want to have better relationships with people that'll make me happy, and so then you'd be like, okay, I need to focus on my friends and putting time with them and spending time, and so you can kind of break it down that way. So you can start with like a broad goal, but you want to put it more. The more you can define the goal, the more you can narrow it down and trim away the fat and figure out exactly, pinpoint exactly what you want. Then you can get to work on it, and you're more focused. The more you can focus in on what it is that you want, and this takes time. That's why you have to sit down and make the time to write these goals out and kind of brainstorm a bit. And this is why people don't like to do it, because you have to actually dig deep. You're going to trim away the fat and find out exactly what you want. Even with girls, if it's like, I want to be successful with women, I want to have multiple girls, I want to have like sex with a lot of girls, or like I want a girlfriend or something like that, you got to trim that down. Then once you find that, like, I want a girlfriend, your RAS, your reticular activation system, which I'll talk about at the end of this video, you'll be more focused on that. So when you're out talking to girls, if there's like party girls or something like that and they like look like they're not really down to have a relationship, you're not going to waste your time with that. You're going to be more focused on talking to girls that seem like they're into relationships, or vice versa. If you're not looking for a relationship, you're not going to really be wasting your time talking to girls that look like they're looking for a boyfriend, because it's a waste of your time. So by that, you get more focused in your decisions in life. You're more confident with your decisions rather than being like, oh, do I talk to this girl? Like, I don't know. She seems cool, but she seems like she wants a boyfriend, and I don't want to be that, and I don't know. So it just cuts all that chatter out, and it's basically, it turns it more black and white. Like, does this help me with my goals or not? And that's really what this helps out with, is it keeps you focused and you're able to make decisions quicker and more confidently. So you want to write out your goals, and then the second part is to make a game plan for it. You want to put like a time limit, or when do you want to achieve this goal? Is it by the end of the year? Is it in a month? And then you want to like start setting like months. Like I do with some of mine. One of my goals was to in game to my game was to get a three-way, and so I put to a month plan. Like, okay, well, I gotta talk to 10 girls a day. I gotta do that, keep my game sharp. I gotta do this, and I put like daily things I have to do, and then like, okay, at the end of this week, where should I be? And I actually wrote out like everything I need to do, and I even probably need to go back and even get more detailed. And I looked, I was like, this can happen in about 2 months, and it really cut away a lot of like maybe fears I had. I was like, oh, it's bouncing two girls, like all the work that has to go into something like that. So anything that you're going after, whether it's in your game or trying to get a girlfriend, or even just in life or working out or anything like that, setting goals and then writing out a plan, it's going to help you be more clear on what your intent is, which is important with being a man and being on your purpose. You hear me talk about a lot. And then also, you're going to find things too that maybe you don't know how to do. I've learned this a lot with building my business. There's a lot of things that I'm figuring out how to like get better at, or like one of them was like infill footage, and like, oh, I got to get the right mic to sync to my camera to do this. And so I have to actually like research. So step 3, I would say, is to make a little list as you're writing out your goals of things to research. Maybe things you need to figure out before to achieve your goal. And even if that can be with success with women, like how far you are, like how do I go up and talk to a girl without being nervous, or how do I go for a makeout, or how do I pull the girl home and have sex with her. So you got to figure that stuff out, and if you don't know, you got to write that down, like research this. I usually have like a little research column, and then I go and Google it, look on YouTube, see if there's anything, and look for books. Usually the best I would recommend is try to find a book on it, because it's a big, thick wealth of information all compiled to in one place. And then there's like the YouTube videos, which are good. There's tons of people that are putting out free content like this. And also too, like just anywhere online, just find a good source that looks reliable, and start finding those answers, and you'll have those aha moments, and that'll move you that much more closer to your goal, and it's just that much more rewarding. Now the next step is to be consistent, and that means going back and referring to the plan after you've written it out, and then to really focus on it, because as you write out the plan, there may be things in the time scale where you need to research stuff to see how long things are going to take, and there's going to be like little jumps where you need to fill in the gaps of like, you need to keep making new drafts of your plan. And that's where I think it's tough. I think step 1 is tough, to actually sit down and do it, and you'll feel good from that, like yes, but you actually need to go and refer to the plan. The Brian Tracy book, he said, if you focused for 30 straight days, he suggests that even in the morning, write out your goals and write as you have them. Just be like, if you're trying to make a lot of money, just be like, I have $80,000 in my bank account, and you just write it as you have that, and it just really focuses your mind, and it switches your mind into like a proactive state. And so he says, write down those goals every day, so you're staying focused on that. So I try to do that in the morning, be consistent about that, and then refer to your plan, look back at your plan, be like, okay, what's the next step? And just keep going to that. And this is really going to just put you on your path. Like, I know it kind of seems like a lot of work, or it's really boring. It's very unsexy to sit down and do it, but it's kind of like meditation or anything else. Like with meditation, I think a lot of guys, and me too when I first started, it was like, oh, I don't want to do this, or anything, the gym. Like, I don't want to do this, but after you do it, you feel better after you do it. It's not like TV where you get that instant, like, oh, this is going to make me feel good, and you get that dopamine, but after you feel more rewarded because you actually accomplished something. So writing down these goals, making the plan, and then being consistent to check over it and going back over it is very important, and you just feel more rewarding, and it gives you confidence. So when you're out in life, you are a lot less worried because you have something, a plan to refer back to, and you don't have to worry about, oh, is this person thinking this about me, or oh, am I gonna get this done? If I ever gonna make it? Am I ever gonna get a girlfriend, or am I just gonna be alone forever? Like those things kind of get cleared away because your focus, your brain is focused on what you're trying to accomplish. So what I want to explain to you guys too is about RES, Reticular Activation System. Now, if you've listened to any like Tony Robbins or RSD videos or anything like that, you probably know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that haven't, don't really know what that is, or don't really have a good idea of what it is, I want to explain it and break it down. It's basically a part in your brain, and it's what makes you focus. It's what you focus on. Like a good illustration of it would be if you've ever like wanted to buy a certain kind of car. You're like, I want a BMW, or you're really like interested in something like as far as the car reference goes, like I want to buy a BMW. Then you notice as you go out in your day-to-day life, your brain's more focused. It seems like everyone's driving a BMW because you've picked up on that. That means your RAS is focused on something like that, and it's so focused that it sees it everywhere. There's so much information we're taking in that our mind has to run it through a filter. So writing these goals out and making a plan is putting a filter in your brain to get to where you want. They have a lot of like Think and Grow Rich, and it's like the woo-woo philosophical thing of self-development is like, oh, you put it out there and it comes back to you, and it sounds lame if you're not really into this stuff and if you've never really like been into that, The Secret and the law of attraction. But it's very true if you look into it, that like if you send it out into the world, it comes back to you, and it's because you're running life through a filter. Like if you want that BMW and you're focused on it, you're going to be talking to people, and if someone has a BMW, you're actually going to be like, instead of maybe not talk to them or something, you're going to be like, oh, well, how do you do run maintenance on your BMW? And it puts you on a different path. And so I know, like, if you're not really into this self-development type thing, this may sound weird to you, but if you are, and I'm guessing you are if you're watching a video like this, it's very important to understand that, like, how powerful the reticular activation system is, and how writing these goals down and making a plan for it as well, and then being consistent with it, is focusing that RES so you can get whatever you want. It's so possible, and it's very powerful, and you just get a lot of aha moments where you're just getting realizations, and it's great. Like, it's fucking amazing. It's trippy when you see it actually working, and you just see what's possible, and that is what you get the confidence from, because you're like, I can fucking do anything. There's nothing to stop me, and I know what I need to focus on. And so it cuts out all that like bullshit of like being worried about stuff, worried about what people think of you, and like all the just negativity that I just feel like everything pushes down on you in this world, whether it be like judgmental or bitchy people, or just advertisers trying to get you to buy certain things. You'll just ignore all that because it's not part of your reality, and you're focused on what you want. And you'll notice when you're talking to women that you have that little extra thing that they don't know what it is. Like, oh, like, what is it about him that I'm so attracted to? It's that you're focused and you're grounded, and you don't care about like what she thinks of you or not, because you're on your goal. Like, one of my goals, like trying to get a three-way with girls, I like have little goals, like try to go for a double makeout, like do little things like that. So if a girl's like not interested in me, or like doesn't really care, doesn't like me or whatever, I really don't give a shit. There's 20 other girls to talk to. There's 100 other girls to talk to. There's millions. There's tons. So it doesn't really matter. I don't give a fuck. Like, if someone like looks at this video and is like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? Like, this makes no sense. I really don't give a shit, because I'm so focused on what I'm going for in life that I'm putting this out there to share with you what I learned, and hopefully you can get something from it. And that's what I'm really hoping that this video does for you. So I hope this helps. Leave me some comments or feedback and let me know what you think. And if you have any questions or anything too, I'd be happy to answer them. And just make sure to subscribe here so you can get more videos and keep up on all this content. And then also check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page too, because I like to put up a little like post about little motivational things to keep you going, and keep you getting your success with women, and getting those fucking makeouts, getting those numbers, and just fucking hitting it hard out there and being a fucking pimp. And hope to see you next time. Take care.